Pakistan and Indonesia have enjoyed great bilateral relations for over 71 years, many cooperations in many fields, from political, security cooperations, trade and business, education, and much, much more. And to discuss Indonesia and Pakistan's great relations, we have the honor of being joined by the Ambassador of Pakistan to Indonesia, His Excellency, Ambassador Muhammad Hassan. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us and speaking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Right, so Your Excellency, as I mentioned, Indonesia and Pakistan have enjoyed great relations for many, many years. Can you tell us the importance of Pakistan and Indonesia's relations, especially during these very challenging times?
You have very rightly said that Pakistan and Indonesia has enjoyed very good relationships since the establishment of the two countries in 1940s. And since then we have had good political, economic, cultural, and relationship in all fields. The relationship basically it started well before the establishment of Pakistan. As you know that Pakistan came into being in 1947.
Right.
Before that, the Indian Muslims, they were struggling to create a country for themselves in order to live according to their culture. During the same time, Indonesia was also struggling for its independence from the colonial rule. And Muslim soldiers who were in the British Army, though they've been sent by the British Army from India to support the colonial power here, they defected and joined the Indonesian freedom struggle. They are known as, the Pakistani soldiers here, and some of them, most of them, they laid their lives for Indonesia. Some of them stayed back. And so that was the start of our relationship. When both the countries were established, our founding father, Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and President Sukarno, they had the best of their relationship. And we can never forget the way President Sukarno and Indonesia supported us when there was a bad time on us, especially during 1965 war with India. And similarly, Pakistan and Pakistanis have never forgotten Indonesia, and we are always there whenever there is a need for the Indonesians. So, this long historical relationship between the two countries that still persists, and now which has been further cemented and in all fields, especially in the economic and political field.
Now, an issue, of course, a big issue right now is mobility. Mobility between countries, travel, tourism, that has a big impact on economic recovery as well. Now, Your Excellency, I also heard reports of Pakistan and Indonesia working on a travel bubble, especially in Bali, for people from Pakistan so they can travel more easily to Bali with a sort of travel bubble. Could you provide any updates on that?
Yes, you're very right, because in Pakistan, tourism is now booming. It has been a hidden part so far, but now every country is looking for Pakistan to go for tourism. And we see that there is a lot of scope for cooperation, for tourism cooperation between Indonesia and Pakistan. But the problem, as you very rightly mentioned, is the absence of direct flight between the two countries for the moment. We used to have that, actually. Pakistan International Airline and Garuda used to fly. But because of financial troubles of the airlines, it was stopped. And we are looking forward for, I think, very soon, we are asking PIA to resume flights to Bali at least, if not to Jakarta. Right. And because PIA is already has announced its flight to Bangkok, to Singapore, and it's already coming to Kuala Lumpur. So the only remaining part is now Indonesia, and I think that should be done. Okay. Similarly, some of the Indonesian airlines, they have also expressed interest in taking direct flight to Pakistan, and we have already granted permission for 3 stations in Pakistan. So when it happened, so I think there is a big scope for bilateral tourism cooperation between the two countries. Another one issue, I must mention is the visa problem for from the Indonesian side. From Pakistan side, we are open. It's all online visa. Anybody can, come and get the visa. No hassle to come to the embassy even. But from Indonesian side, we need to apply for visa. So at the moment, I'm trying to get visa exemption for group tours from Pakistan coming over here. I think that should be the starting point.
Okay.
And you know, Pakistan is a big country of 220 million population, and Indonesia is a big country of 270 million population. Just imagine if our tourists from each other countries travel to each other tourist spots, how much benefit we all are going to get.
Right, a lot of benefit, of course. And of course, Pakistan is a very beautiful country. Not many are familiar with the beauty in Pakistan, in the tourism spots. So could you tell maybe our viewers or Indonesians out there who want to visit Pakistan, tell us about the beautiful spots in Pakistan, Mr. Bell?
Yeah, you know, Pakistan has a diverse climate and diverse cultures and diverse landscape. Starting from, if you go to the south, beach areas, and then Karachi, the metropolitan city, and then green, lush green areas of Punjab, and then you go onto the mountains, and go on the top of the mountain. See, I could see you somewhere here. K2 is the second highest peak in the world. So the Karakoram Mountains is one of the hidden jewel for the tourists, basically. There are 8,000 peaks in Pakistan. The largest, you know, glacier region outside the polar region is in Pakistan. And now people have started calling it the Switzerland of East, because the beauty, the natural beauty which you have, we have in our northern part, and the culture actually, that's another, you know, fascinating part of the tourism. A good thing is that, you know, there are many similarities between the cultures of Indonesia and culture of Pakistan. So when an Indonesian go to Pakistan, he will feel at home. Actually, we have similarity of cultures, we have similarity of even religion.
Right, and of course, for tourists seeking halal food and things of that nature, it would be found in Pakistan tourism quite easily, I'm sure.
Well, you know, the best part of Pakistani tourism in Pakistan is that you find everything.
Right.
There is an impression that Pakistan is an Islamic country, so there is only the mosque and religious tourism as well. But you know, you will be amazed to hear that most of the Buddhist places, religious places, those are in Pakistan. And there are lots of, you know, Buddhist tourists from East Asia, Southeast Asia, goes to Pakistan. Similarly, the Sikh religion, we get quite a big number of Sikh tourists to Pakistan. The Christianity and Hindu religion, that's the religious part. From the cultural part, starting from the north, the mountain culture, and then you have distinct, you know, Punjab culture, Balochistan, Sindhis, and these are all distinct ones. Well, in fact, the embassy of Indonesia in Pakistan has published a book very recently, giving the similarities of culture between Indonesia and Pakistan, and you will love to see that, you know, how similar we are. So that's why I say, you know, Indonesian face no problem in Pakistan.
Right.
The food is similar, the culture is similar, the dress is similar, and we look similar, actually.
Okay, great, of course. So a great place to travel, and I just want to confirm, Indonesians who want to travel to Pakistan, they don't need to even apply for a visa.
Yeah, they do need visa, but it's online. Online visa, and they can even, you know, get on visa on arrival as well.
Okay.
But you have to, you know, apply it online, so that, you know, for the visa on arrival, you have to apply it on arrival, but the visa is delivered at the airport. But you can get it at your from the comfort of your home or your office. Just apply online, and then you get visa at your place.
Pakistan and Indonesia, they have great trade relations, and Indonesia and Pakistan, they're important trade partners to each other. So can you tell our viewers who are maybe not familiar, what is the trade relation like between Pakistan and Indonesia? What are some of the Indonesian goods that Pakistan imports and vice versa?
You know, the trade cooperation between the two countries has started a long time ago, as you know that, you know.
Yeah.
It started with the spices trade before the establishment of the two countries, going from Indonesia to Pakistan and the areas which are now part of India, because we like your spices. So it started from there. The two countries signed professional trade agreement in 2013. Before that, our bilateral trade was something about $1.6 billion. But after signing that professional trade agreement, which gives market access to each other countries for more than 250 items from each other countries, so now the trade has increased to this 2021, it was $4.2 billion. So you see the jump. It was more than 140% jump in trade. But this is not all. That is just a tip of the iceberg. If you see the potentials, you see the market in each other countries. Yes, there are, you know, certain items in which we are competitors. We produce both, but there are items which we need and we import from each other countries. The major import of Pakistan from Indonesia is palm oil, coal, and many other things. Actually, there are more than 100 items which can be imported into Pakistan. And similarly, from Pakistan, major import items are agriculture goods, rice, and quinoas nowadays. You know, the citrus fruits are coming, and there are many other things. Yes, there are issues. We are trying to find out resolve those issues. And if we really work hard on that, this $4 billion trade can go up to $15 billion within few years. Another one issue is, you know, the trade is highly in favor of Indonesia. Almost, you know, 97% of the trade is Indonesian export to Pakistan. There is very less imports from Pakistan, but I think we are working with the Ministry of Trade and Ministry of Agriculture of Indonesia and to find some way out, because, you know, it's not sustainable if the trade is so much imbalanced.
Right.
And they are aware of it, and they are finding ways of thinking how to, you know, buy more from Pakistan in order to make, you know, narrow the gap.
And of course, there's also talks of a free trade agreement between Pakistan and Indonesia. Can you tell us about the progress regarding this?
Well, the agreement which we are now negotiating is called the Trade in Goods Agreement, which is close to a free trade agreement, which is a step forward from the preferential trade agreement. There is a scope for that, you know, and we need to have that free trade agreement. But at the same time, you know, we need to first of all resolve the issues which are there in the preferential trade agreement, in the implementation of it. I mentioned to you.
Yep.
Some of them pertains to non-tariff barriers, some of them pertains to different other issues which we need to resolve that. And because of COVID-19, the progress on the trade and good agreement was not good, but we did had one session last year, even during COVID-19, online, on Zoom. So hopefully we are moving in the right direction.
Right. So of course, Indonesia hopes the same, moving in the direction, but as you said, there's still many issues. One of the big ones is the imbalance in trade. And unfortunately, that's not only with Indonesia. There's a trade deficit issue in Pakistan, reportedly. Could you just tell our viewers about this kind of economic condition in Pakistan right now, especially with the deficit?
Well, you know, the balance of trade in many countries, it's not in the favor of the country. It's some same goes for Pakistan. Basically, it's because, you know, we import more than what we export. So there is a balance of trade. So it's not only with Indonesia only. We have that with many other countries as well. Well, if to be precise, our, you know, the difference between our imports and exports are almost about more than 10 to $11 billion. But there's not a big issue, and there are, you know, different reasons, and there are different ways of, you know, addressing those problems. If you see, for example, you take any country, for example, United States, its imports are $2 trillion, exports are $1 trillion. But that's a big economy, so it's like that. So in Pakistan, we are trying to, narrow the gap. And there are different strategies. One strategy is to import substitution, producing more goods in Pakistan, which we import from other places. That needs investment from abroad. So that comes, the China-Pakistan economic corridor, if you have heard about it.
Sure. Yeah.
So under that economic corridor, we are establishing 9 special economic zones and inviting investors from all over the countries, including from Indonesia, to come and put up their industries there, so that they also earn money, because there is a market inside the country for that, and they can also export to other countries, and we also lower our imports. So these are some of the strategies which the government is working. The economy as a whole is doing very well. Despite COVID-19, we had around 5% of GDP growth rate, which is remarkable actually. And we are hoping to have even more during this year.
Right. So optimism ahead. But previously you were also talking about investments. So could you tell us about maybe some of the investment cooperations from Pakistan into Indonesia? What are some of the investments that Pakistan is making into Indonesia? Because we're building a lot, of course,
yes,
industries as well.
There are a couple of Pakistani investors already in Indonesia. They are in soap industry, they are in palm oil industry, and they are in spices industry, and many others. But this is not all. The scope is enormous. You have to give the environment for them to come and invest in it. And similarly, Pakistan also is giving that environment to the Indonesian investors. And there is a lot of scope actually. I'm glad to say that the first industry from Indonesian side has already been there in Pakistan, which is Indomie has put up a noodle factory in Pakistan. And you see that they will become investing more, I'm sure, when they start getting the production. Similarly, some of the technological companies, and we are working with them to put up industries in Pakistan, because Pakistan is a big market. Yeah. And we also have scope for cooperation in tobacco industry. Pakistan is a big producer of tobacco, and you have a good industry here. So there are a lot of scope actually.
Right. As you said, there's a lot of scope for investment. Now, I also want to talk about educational cooperation between Pakistan and Indonesia. Can you talk to us about some of the scholarship programs that Pakistan is offering to Indonesian students?
There are 2 streams of scholarship which provides by Pakistan. One is the Pakistan Technical Assistance Program, that is for all the friendly countries, under which we provide 5-6 scholarships for high education in medicine, in dentistry, in engineering, and other things. And then there are scholarships which are provided by different universities by themselves. So I must say that the one which is quite popular among the Indonesian students are the scholarship being provided by some of the universities like International Islamic University. Similarly, lots of Indonesian universities are offering scholarship to Pakistani students. Very recently, 3 universities from Pakistan and 3 universities in Surabaya have signed MOUs. And not only for exchange of students, but also exchange of faculty and researchers, etc.
So can Indonesian students sign up for scholarships in Pakistan right now and head there despite the pandemic? Is that still ongoing? And also, tell us some of the benefits. As you said earlier, that we have a lot of cultural similarities. So tell us why Indonesian students should go to Pakistan for scholarships.
Yes. The first benefit is it's affordable.
Right.
And the second one is quality education. And the third one is the similar background, similar cultural background. And we have similar food, and so you feel at home. So I think that these are the 3 benefits because of which I would say that going and studying in Pakistan is beneficial for the Indonesian students.
So just very lastly, Mr. Ambassador, what are some of the future plans for relations between Pakistan and Indonesia to improve them even further, whether it's trade, political or security, and so forth, education?
You know, we consider Indonesia as one of our best friends in the region. We have had a history of good relations, we discussed it before. And we see the prospect for relationship in future much brighter than what we have now. Be it in the political, in the strategic line, in the defense, as well as in economics and cultural, education, tourism. We have the possibility of enhancing our cooperation in all those fields. And we want, basically Pakistan wants to take this relationship to a new level by injecting more energy and more proactive work into all these fields.
Right. A lot of optimism ahead, a lot of future plans. So, Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much for talking to us, of course, and we're hoping for the best for improved relations even further between Pakistan and Indonesia. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you very much.